Hello everybody, I've got Playwell Bricks here. Jason from Playwell Bricks is here. Hey, say hello there to everyone, Jason.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Alright, first off, I need some help. If anybody's out there, let me know if I need to turn my mic up or Jason's mic up. I'll turn the music down. Alright, and before we get into this, I want to make sure, go over to Playwell Bricks' page if you haven't yet. You can see a little bit more about Jason, and he's got a good giveaway going. If you like his page and comment and like his post here, you can get $200 in Canadian, $200 Canadian, for some Lego e-assets. Can you explain this a little better than I can?
Sure. So to commemorate the fact that I got 2,000 likes on my page on Facebook, and I have been designing for about 2 years now, I decided to give back to the community that supports me, so I did this $200 Canadian e-gift card draw. So that'll be happening on Sunday, I believe, on the 17th. So all you have to do is, as James said, go like the page and comment on that post, and you're entered for the draw.
Is that for Rebrickable, or where's the gift card good for?
It's for Lego. It's directly for Lego.
Oh, direct to Lego. Okay. Yeah, well,
Yep.
All right. That is very nice. Oh, and Jason is the admin for the Lego Studio Designers group, and you've got an excellent group going here. It's growing fast. Oops.
Yeah, it's really taken off. I'm really pleased that group is coming along so well.
So definitely make sure, if you haven't yet, to join our group. And also, I'm hoping you guys can come to my page, Head Full of Bricks. Give me a like and a subscribe, and that you'll catch more live video like this one, I'm hoping, in the future. So,
Hey, Nilver, how you doing?
look who's in we got Nilver Hannes in Venezuela. Vincent Sim, thank you for coming by. Oh wait, he's in Barranquilla, Colombia. I've been talking a little bit with Nilver lately about Colombia. I like it. He has a great model for, it's the Window of the World in Barranquilla, Colombia, and I got a chance to go there 20 years ago, and that's changed quite a bit apparently. But they have the second biggest carnival after Rio, and if you ever wanted to go have a crazy experience, the carnival in Barranquilla is incredible. Thank you for stopping by, Nilver. What other business? So I've got the group, my page, your page, and I think we're ready to talk about you there, Jason.
Sure.
If anybody has questions for Jason, technical, Lego, anything, make sure to ask in the comments and we'll try to get to it. But Jason, you want to tell us a little bit about your background in Lego?
Oh, sure. So about 4 years ago, I have collected for all my life, but when my first daughter was born, I kind of stowed the collection away and put it in the basement until I think my youngest was, she was 3 or 4 years old. So hopefully old enough not to go and grab the stuff and put it in her mouth. So anyways, that never happened, by the way. It was all good. So anyways, they got into Lego right away, of course. And I decided to go do some bulk buying just to get them enough Lego to play with. And as I went around and picked up bulk lots from Kijiji, I noticed that kids didn't actually build anything with their Lego. Like, they build the set, and then they shove it on a shelf and never touch it. And I remember growing up, and probably you do too, when I got a set, I would build it and then rip it apart and see what I could do with it. And everything for me growing up was about getting those cool new pieces, or the translucent pieces, or my favorite set of all time was the, I think it was a Galaxy Command ship, and it had light and sound with it. I loved that stuff. So I could never figure out, I was sitting there puzzling why kids aren't, tearing their stuff apart and building new stuff with it. So I asked a kid one day when I went to pick up this lot from him. I had picked up 3 separate lots from this kid. And, I had to ask him and his mom, like, how come you aren't tearing it apart and building new stuff with it? And he said it was too complicated. It was too hard and didn't know how to do that kind of stuff. So light went off in my head that I've got to, reach out to these kids and, start showing kids how to be creative with their Lego, because it is a little bit different, especially with the newer pieces, a lot of smaller pieces now. So I started off small. I had 6 local kids in my Lego room, and I was showing them how to do a little bit of stuff. And of course, I really, other than building from instructions at that point for the sets that I collected, I wasn't really a designer. I was just messing around with stuff, seeing what I could do. So out of that, it eventually grew to me teaching workshops at a local family center. And we had like 24 kids sign up to that, so it was insane. And then a year later, we moved that up to the school. So now we have the cafeteria full of kids that I'm doing workshops for, and I do that once a week. So I take up about 400 pounds of Lego once a week, and we still have about 20-some kids that come in and just build every week, and it's fantastic. So that was that aspect of it. And then, as I mentioned, about 2 years ago, I started designing, and that came from, again, trying to do the creative thing with kids. I started a YouTube channel and just wanted to show, you don't have to be limited by what's in the book. You can do so much more if you just let your imagination go. And at one point, I came up with a road system that worked really well, and it was a brick-built road system rather than the plate. And that then developed into the magic circle, which I think I showed you once, which is a completely brick-built circle, but there's no gaps in it. And that was my first kind of little bit of attention that got put on the Brothers Brick, and it got shared around quite a bit. So that was pretty neat to have that little bit of exposure, and then I was hooked from there, so I started going more into design. I designed a fully working swing carousel that takes like 60 minifigs, and I take that around to the shows. Kids love that. And yeah, and then I got my next big break when I did the Argonaut. So if you go on my Flickr feed, you can go see that I did about 2-foot tall Argonaut from Lord of the Rings. And that one again got showed on the Brothers Break. So, and from there it's just been steadily been really, really, really busy doing commission work.
Yeah. Are you able? Do you have the time to do your own projects, or is it all?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. That's more or less intentional. When I started design work, I really thought of it as a career. I've turned hobbies into jobs before. This isn't my first kick at the can with doing commission work and stuff like that. And usually turning hobbies into work makes you hate those hobbies. For this one, I specifically went into Lego as thinking this could be a career. So I've been focusing on doing things that other people want to see, not so much doing things that I particularly like. So for me, I'm a Star Wars collector, and I've yet to do a Star Wars commission.
When you get the commissions, I guess this, I know this comes with a lot of experience, but how do you decide what's feasible and not to actually do in Lego? Do you ever get stuff that just really ends up being way more difficult than you planned?
Everything is way more difficult than I planned. Yeah. So I am a sucker for punishment where I really like challenges. I love a challenge. So when I get something that's I think is going to be impossible, those are the ones I sink my teeth into the most. Like the Winterfell that I did right now that's sitting at 62,000 pieces. That one's just going to be ridiculously huge when it's done. I think it's going to be 300,000 when it's done. So those kind of things are what drive me. The ones that are easier, I mean, I love doing them regardless, but those are, those really hard ones that I think that are going to be impossible are the ones that I get the most pleasure out of.
Yeah, I've been doing this for about a year, and I have so many unfinished projects where I thought, oh, I could probably do something interesting with that, and boy, you can get stuck in a corner.
Yeah, you can, and that's what I love about Lego too. Is we had talked about this a few days ago, that the limitations of Lego make it so much more satisfying when you overcome those challenges. Like it's really fantastic when you're like, I just can't figure this out, and then it plays in your mind for a couple of days, and then you just sit down and crack open Studio and bang, 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 it's there in front of you. Those kind of moments are awesome.
Yeah. Nilver Hames asks, Jason, how do you get inspired and start a mock? When the idea is still unclear?
That's a good one. How do you get inspired? Well, thankfully, in my position, my clients are the ones that come up with the idea. So that part is easy for what I do. If I was going to be doing something for myself, it would definitely be something that I want to see that hasn't been done in Lego yet.
Yeah.
Always. So for a long time, I wanted to do the Monk Cal Cruiser from Star Wars, and it really hadn't been done well. And then somebody went and did it for one of the Lego shows, and it was on there goes my mind. Anyways, it was posted on YouTube, and then it's been done now. So I don't want to do that project anymore. It's always something that's never been done that is the most interesting to me. And how to get your ideas is always to look at what other people have done. So go and look at designers. I mean, there's been so much done in Lego, and there's so many different varieties of designers out there that have their own takes on how to do certain parts of the build or certain designs. Maybe it's like Nilver had contacted me about doing a particular kind of arch design, and so I sketched out something for him on Studio just to show him how to do that. But that's really where I've gotten a lot of my initial ideas from anyways, is just going and looking at what other people have done and let the idea play around in your head for a while. It might take, a week of thinking about it before you can even get going on it.
What kind of themes do you lean towards? You say Star Wars. Is it sci-fi, comic books, architecture?
Personally, it's Star Wars, Disney, Harry Potter stuff, because my wife and daughters are nuts for Harry Potter, and we all love Disney, and I love Star Wars. That's for collecting stuff. For designing, again, I've been getting a lot of Lord of the Rings stuff coming my way. And that just runs the gambit of what clients want to see.
On my desktop background here, I've got some of your pop-up books, which I thought were cool. I was going on your Flickr today and checking out some of your stuff. How old is like the Doctor Who and the Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah. So that was Lego Ideas contest last year. I didn't remember what month it was. So I had done 3 or 4 of those pop-up book contest entries, and they're really fun. I'm actually going to take the Alice in Wonderland book and turn it into a real build, which is rare for me to take my designs and turn them into real builds myself. But our lug, Marilug, in the Maritimes in Canada, that's where I'm from, by the way, we're going to be doing a series of those books that Jay Alleman and Grant Davis designed, the Lego Ideas books. And we were going to be doing a show at a library and taking all of our books and having the kids being able to see the pop-up books in all different sorts of fairy tales. So unfortunately, like most things, it got canceled, but hopefully we'll be able to do that next year.
Yeah, I like those pop-up books. You have the mechanics of it are when I first saw that, I was like, oh, that's really interesting. That's great. Always a great way to get inspiration.
Yeah, exactly. Jason Alleman, he's fantastic. If anybody has not seen his YouTube channel, JK Brickworks, just wild designs. Like he's definitely got the mind of an engineer.
I like his Sisyphus model.
Yeah. That's kind of the first one that I saw of his. It's really good.
Yeah.
He's got some fantastic ones.
I don't know. I'm sentimental about Sisyphus. That seems to be my life struggle.
Yeah. Oh
my. You're on the coach of the robotics team. And that's something also I've been interested in. How is doing Lego robotics?
How is it?
Yeah, I mean, is it coding? How much goes into that?
A lot. It's all worth it, but there's a lot into that. So, yeah, I started that about 4 years ago as well. First year is a real learning curve. And I've told many people I've probably learned more from coaching that robotics team than I have ever taught the kids, because there's so many challenges and obstacles to face and to overcome. Plus, I never really coached anything before. So there was a lot of learning to do team building, to keep kids motivated and inspired, and especially when the challenges are really hard. Like the first Lego League challenges seem simple, but when you get into them, you realize how hard they are. And you have kids that are 9 to 14 years old that come up with crazy, insane, great ideas for overcoming these challenges. And the moments that they're like, aha, I figured it out. Like, they're just so exuberant in their joy. It's awesome. So it's really a fantastic program. I wish it was promoted more in schools, because it really teaches kids to think critically, to act as a team. I mean, everything that you want your kid to learn in school is taught in first. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the tenets of the program. The most important thing is the core values, which are, as I mentioned, teamwork, critical thinking, etc. And the kids do a research project. They do the robot game. They do. They have to basically do a summary of how they've applied the core values through the year, not just in robotics but outside of robotics. So it's just a phenomenal program. The coding and all of that is actually the lesser part of the program, but it's definitely the central aspect of it, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. What kind of coding goes into it? I haven't researched it yet, but
so it's proprietary to EV3. So it's Lego's own programming, but now they've added in extensions for Python and Scratch as well.
Okay. A good way to start, I assume, a little more basic than probably other things.
Yes, like on the surface of it, it's pretty simple. It's really easy to pick up. You can get very complicated with it, but it's really easy just to start going. And it's visual coding, so it's just block coding, pulling out and dropping blocks. And
what kind of machines have you guys built, or robots?
Oh, they're hard to describe, because they do so much. Like, basically what you have is a central robot, and you're slapping on attachments as you're going through the game to complete certain missions. So the robot goes out autonomously. It has to find its way autonomously across the mat and then get to whatever mission, do whatever it has to do to complete that mission, and hopefully go on to another mission, and then it comes back to the home base where you can swap out attachments, and it goes back out and completes some more missions. And you have 2.5 minutes to complete as many missions as possible.
Yeah, it sounds like a good time. How about
you should. There's videos on YouTube showing the first robots in action. Definitely look them up, because it's phenomenal to see what these kids have come up with. Just remembering that these kids are only like 9 and 14 years old.
Yeah. there's a little one in this house that's about that age, and he's technical. I think he would take to it. I just don't have the hardware yet for it.
Yeah, well, you could. There's lots of programs that they will sponsor teams, so you can get your equipment and get started and do that kind of stuff. Or especially if you have a school that's willing to start up a team.
Hey, I just want to make a shout out to Milver. Thank you for coming by. And we'll go on. So I've got your micro scale of Hogwarts. Do you do a lot? Do you like doing much in micro scale?
Yeah, I do. I would love to do more of it. I just don't get the opportunity. But yeah, I really like microscale. I think that whole genre of building is fantastic. One of my, Lego heroes, if you can, call them that, is Rocco Butlier. He is fantastic at microscale stuff. So I'm trying to remember what I did that. I think there was a contest I did that Hogwarts or the Hogsmeade for. Yeah, and that was a fun little challenge to do.
You've gone from the micro scale. Your last, you did the big Game of Thrones build. Are you a fan of that show?
I love the book series. I can't say that I'm a fan of the show. I do love the book series, though.
I lost the thread. I think in about season 6, but you did a good job
you
with it.
You lasted way longer than me. About season 2, I was done with it.
Yeah.
But,
it was hard. It was hard to keep a track of everybody with the beard. That was my biggest complaint. I was like, they all look the same.
Yeah, I came from reading all the novels and then the show comes out, so it's always never read the novel first kind of situation. So there was a lot of stuff that just bothered me about it.
You did that for commission. Is that going to be built by somebody?
Yeah. So my client will be building that. I don't know when. We still have a lot of work to do on it. So that was just the outer walls that I finished so far. And we're going to be doing the entire interior. So that's going to, I would guess, be about another 2 years before that's done.
How many pieces is it up to?
That's 62,000 right now.
What's that in pounds?
I don't know.
You're keeping all of Bricklink afloat during this recession here, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
When I discovered Bricklink, I haven't ordered things, but it's such a great idea to be able to design on Studio and buy piece by piece. But it's expensive hobby, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is. Speaking of Bricklink, that's what's going to be my video today. On my channel is going to be how to use Bricklink and Rebrickable, so you can take your designs from Studio and order the parts in, etc.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. What do you think of? Well, you don't have to give your opinion on Lego's takeover of Bricklink thus far.
Oh, I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
I am opposite of everybody else. No, I was very pleased to hear that. I know they got rid of the custom parts and things like that, but that personally doesn't affect me. But yeah, I'm quite happy. I think they're doing a fantastic job of it.
You do most of your design work on Studio?
Yeah, like 99.9% is on Studio, yeah.
Did you start out in studio, or did you use Draw and Lego Digital Designer?
No, I started out just head in bricks, and then I think I got into studio. Oh, boys. Yeah, it was around 2 years ago, maybe a little bit, 2.5 or something like that. I played around with it a bit, and then I was hooked immediately.
You do such a good job with the instruction maker. That's a extra wrinkle for sure.
Yeah, and that's one of those things when you're making instructions, you have to put yourself in the shoes of the person who's looking at the instructions. So you have to be very, very, very clear about where everything goes.
Yeah. I've got a design process question for you. When
Sure.
you're building a model, do you try to keep your steps all in order right from the start, or do you build it and then you go back and do your or reorganize things so it fits your instructions?
The second one.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely I can't be limited by trying to fit the steps in here and there because I make so many changes. Like I will come at the end of the process and look at the design and say, I don't like that. That's got to go. Or swap it around or something like that. So no, I can't put in the steps until the very end.
Yeah, I build away and then I look at the mess in my my steps. Look, I haven't started doing too. I've done some little projects with just to test out the instruction maker.
Yeah.
But I haven't quite decided how to attack it yet when I get to that point.
Yeah. Well, so I haven't done a video on this yet, but I plan on in the future. So what I do is I'll take the model, I'll make a copy of it. Actually, I make 2 copies of it, and I will grab the parts off of one of the copies and just cut them and then start a new step and paste them in that step. And then go back to the model, cut the parts, bring them over, start a new step, paste them, rinse and repeat until I have the whole model done. And the reason I copy it twice is so that I have an original to go look at every time if I get confused where I am in the process.
Okay. It's so much. I don't know. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around it sometimes.
Yeah. Well, when I do the video, it'll help. I'll probably do that in a few weeks.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
So, what was your trick? How you did the Game of Thrones, and that had 60,000 pieces. Or how did you use the submodels so that you didn't crash studio with having it all open?
Okay. So if you hide parts of the model, they won't take up memory. So as you're going along, especially with something big like that, so I use submodels, obviously. So what I would do is go outside of the main model. I'd start a new file. I'd build the section in the new file. I would turn that into a submodel. Then I would bring it over into the main model, turn snap off because snap takes a lot of memory, and then just use the connect tool to attach it where it needed to go on the main model. And also, while doing that, if there were parts of the main model I didn't need to work on anymore, I would just hide them. So doing those few things, you can create a much larger model than you would be able to otherwise. And the only time that I would unhide that stuff is when I needed to do a render of the whole model.
At the end you rendered the whole model at once, didn't you?
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah.
one of these.
Yeah, I've rendered it quite a few times.
What specs are your computer running?
So I have I can't even remember the processor now, but I got 32 gigs of onboard RAM. I've got a RTX 1070, which I just upgraded from a really old 760 Ti NVIDIA card. Just give me a second, and then my processor is about 8 years old. So it's nothing new for the processor. What do we have here? It is a Phenom 2 X6,
Okay.
2.2 gigahertz. Yeah.
Here, can you hold on one moment?
Certainly.
Sorry about that.
Anybody else out there with any questions while we're waiting?
Oh, let's see here. I don't see any more in the comments. Any extra questions would be appreciated in the comments. Sorry, now my train of thought is gone. I don't know if I had any more thoughts and questions. Do you have anything more? We've been on here for 45 minutes. We can wrap it up. I appreciate your time.
Oh, wow. I didn't even realize. I don't know. There wasn't much more. I mean, I think one of the best pieces of advice that I heard, I'll end on this, is to become a Lego designer, a good Lego designer, you should always design what other people want and not what you want. And that was something that I touched on earlier. And I think it's ringing true in my case anyways, that that should be where you aim your ambitions and goals, because if you're doing stuff that you want to do and only that, you're going to get stuck in a rut of only doing those things. And if you ever have ambitions to work for Lego and actually be one of their designers, you have to have as broad of a field as you can possibly get. So that's the advice that I've been sticking by in the last couple of years.
That's good advice. Well, Playwell, I'm going to give you one more plug. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to go to the Playwell Bricks page and give Playwell a like and a follow, and check out his $200 Canadian dollar Lego giveaway. And join us. You can find us over at the Lego Studio Designers group. This is where we exchange a lot of ideas. Playwell is our benevolent admin. I appreciate it, Playwell.
Well, you're very welcome. I'm so happy that you had me on and that we have that group now. It's doing fantastic. I'm really pleased.
And before I forget, happy birthday coming up.
Oh, thank you, sir. Yeah.
You're doing a good job staying young.
Well, you can't grow up too fast.
No, you can't. All right, and with that, I'm going to end the live. You can stay on the line if you like here, Playwell.
All right.
And thanks
everybody
for coming on.
for coming out.
This was
absolutely
fun.